What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tapping into another episode of the Mindful Moneymakers podcast, where we break down all the tips, tricks, and mindset shifts you need to make if you want to live a life by design instead of by default. Today, we are talking with another very, very special human being who is leading the way, is leading with her heart, and she's opening up a pathway for you to follow in her footsteps towards your very own dreams. We're actually speaking with International Coaching Federation Associate Certified Coach with degrees from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, a Bachelor's of Science in Business Management, and Jackson State University with a Master's of Business Administration. She's currently pursuing a doctoral degree in the ministry at Lancaster Bible College. And in addition to her coaching and consulting work, she loves to meet new people through her work as an international public speaker and reach new audience through her podcast, Tell Them Why You Mad, Sis, Speak What You Really Feel, which is available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. She has advocated on behalf of Black women, youth, and others for years. She also serves as a mentor and accomplished author, and she's most passionate about helping people reach their goals and achieve their biggest dreams by assisting them through creating a new vision for their life and career. This includes helping each client attain a new level of self esteem and awareness to help them progress and move closer to their goals. Most importantly, she's here to be your personal cheerleader and your accountability partner. She looks forward to working with you on this fantastic new chapter of your life. Today, we are talking with Jennifer C. Black. The soror is in the building, rooting you. I'm so happy, so excited to have the second part of our conversation. The first one we started on your podcast. Now you get to be a mindful moneymaker, and I'm so appreciative of you taking some time to spend with us over here. How are you today?
I'm awesome. Tab, thank you for having me. I just want to say that. Thank you for having me. I know this is going to be awesome, as it was on when you reported on my podcast. So I know it's going to be awesome. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes, indeed. So you're surely welcome. Surely welcome for sure. So I went into a lot of your very impressive accolades. You've definitely been around the block. You've been impacting and helping people, for years now. Tell us a little bit more about how you got started, where you are now, and where you headed in business.
So, how I got started here is actually, I just got to first give glory to God because, like, I never thought that I would be here. Um, it's pretty much very much of the you're gonna be somebody else's survival guide, right? Like, I've heard that before, but I never really like understood what that was until I started to walk through my journey. And it was not an easy path. It was just not, it was very lonely. And there's a lot of people just don't understand. And you have to walk through your journey and know that you're not crazy. Like you're going through it and you're just knowing like, like something's not right. You just know that it's not right. So basically what's really brought me here is that I started to feel very unfulfilled with my career. This is starting, I would say 20 16, 17. I would say I started to feel very unfulfilled with my career. Like I remember silently saying, I just want to love what I do and not consider it work, right? So like, but God was listening to me. Like he heard everything that I said. And I was at that time, I was a babe in Christ. I knew that I was a child of God because I professed my life to Christ at a young age, brought up in the Bible Belt. My dad was a deacon before he became an ordained minister. So I'm a PK. My mom's a teacher. So I had preacher teacher, and just really feeling that I needed something to give me purpose because I had two parents that were living in their purpose. My mom's a teacher, my dad, expressing his love of God through delivering the word to others. And much like any other kid, they're like, I'm not gonna do what my parents do. I want to do what I want to do, and so I wanted to pursue the money. I went to college and I was like, I love the fact that my mom and dad got divorced. So And my dad passed away when I was 18 years old. So those conversations that I had with my dad kind of ended up quite abruptly. So I didn't have a chance to really kind of dive into having those conversations because I was 18 years old. So of course I had them with my mom, and knowing that she really loved what she did. Like I could see the fire in her growing up as a kid, getting excited to see the light bulb go off in her students' heads. And, I had that same type of excitement in me, but didn't know where to channel it per se. So went to college. I remember my marketing teacher told me in high school, he was like, you can get a scholarship in anything you want. You can just tell them you're majoring in something just to get the money. So I'm sitting here like, he put me on the game, right?
Mhm.
So I started working in business and at the bank, and they offered tuition reimbursement along with, the additional scholarships that I had. And I was like, okay, let's just go ahead and major in business and just get the tuition assistance, right? But I found business quite easy, and I went in as a chemistry major. So anybody knows who's a STEM major, y'all know how hard it can be. Y'all find yourselves reevaluate your whole entire life
Yeah,
when
really.
you're in college, right? So like I went into business, and I found that it allowed me work-life balance, because I was working and going to school as a student. And as far as like putting in that time, as a STEM major, you have to put in, you pretty much can't really work because you really, really need to put in that time to get the grades that you're trying to get because it requires that much. Business for me, however, did not, it wasn't like that for me because like, I mean, I was a DECA student in high school. So that was Distributing Education Clubs of America. People are not familiar with that. That's marketing. So, talking about the 4 P's of marketing, promotion, place, and getting into business and, entrepreneurship, and not knowing the seeds are being planted well before it started to grow. So, majored in business, graduated, I was like, I just stayed in it. I was like, this is it. This is hard. I found myself loving it. Also, the concepts of our employment law and, the HR piece, and also management, being able to manage people and motivate people. So that's where I got the passion to motivate people, is actually going into management again, not knowing how it would lead further, right? Guys start planting his seeds early. You don't know, you're really not knowing your roadmap, but when you look back at it, you be like, oh, now I see where it's placed. So then graduated, started working for the federal government. Actually, my first job out of college, I worked at Wells Fargo Financial as a credit manager. So I started learning the credit game. I was like, okay, I looked at my college mistakes because we as Black people aren't taught financial literacy. So of course, like most typical college students get the wild outs. Financial aid check came through. We went to the mall. And it was wild. So then I started to get hip to financial literacy, and then my dad planted that seed early as well because he was the one who taught me how to write checks at like 10 years old. He taught me the importance of money and saving, and to the point where he had an IRA. I knew what an IRA was well before I even entered college, but I didn't know how that instrument would play a part in my life later. But my dad put me up on game, so the financial literacy piece was planted with my dad, but I expanded it moving on past his grade, So got hip to finance and stuff like that. Started working at Wells Fargo Financial, learned the credit game. Okay, great. Boom, fix the credit up. Bam. Then I was like, okay, it's time for the next level. All right. So I moved to the next level, and I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't know if you want, because I started working with the federal government after I left Wells Fargo Financial. And I said, Lord, I don't know if you want me to go into, again, still following the crowd of people in society. So I'm working for the federal government. I'm like, do I get a master's in public administration, or do I go for the MBA? So I'm like, I don't know, Lord, I need a sign. I had a Gideon moment. I said, I need a sign. So he did. He sent me a sign. I got this random letter in the mail in my apartment that was like, this Master's of Business Administration program. And I was like, okay, Lord, you're telling me to go get my MBA. But with that, it still comes trials. I took the GMAT twice, y'all. First time, I'm a broke student, right? I'm a broke trying to figure out my way. I'm making $27,000 a year. The GMAT is $250. I got to pay my rent. I'm still trying to be an adult, not calling my mom to help me out, and all this other stuff. Trying to figure it out. So I scraped up this $250 to take the GMAT. I did not prepare, and that was totally on me. I have to own where I did not prepare myself. I'm thinking just like high school. Well, I could just get the grades, because when you are so-called naturally smart, you think you just roll with it and not study. But when you get to college, they teach you got to study. Like, it does not come like that. So still had a little bit of that mentality. And I did not prepare myself well. So I didn't do as well as I needed to get into the school that I wanted to get into. So I was devastated, because I knew it was going to be hard for me to scrape up this $250. Now, at this particular point, sister girl was working 3 jobs. When I tell you, your girl is a hustler, she ain't a lazy chick by no means. No means lazy chick. I was working for the federal government. I was working at Macy's, and I was working at the bank doing proof operation. When a girl said, let's not sleeping, 3 jobs, it almost drove me crazy. So I was like, Lord, I'm tired. Like at 20 something, I was in my mid-20s, and I was like, Lord, I'm tired. So I actually had one of my friends, I cannot forget him to this very day. He was talking to me. He's like, Jennifer, I will pay for your test for you to go and do this again. Just off I did not take the money from my friend, because again, I'm still like, I got this. Trauma response, extreme independence. I got this. So, but the fact that my friend was willing to help me was all that I needed, because God provided the resources where I was able to scrape up that $250, and I prepared. Okay. This time I was like, there's no way that I'm going to take advantage of this second opportunity, a second chance. God will always give you a second chance. So he gave me the second opportunity. I studied and I got into Jacksonville State. When I got into Jacksonville State, I made the best of the opportunity. I actually killed the program. It was great. One of the requirements for graduation was an oral comp. And my panel were some of the professors I had during the program. And they were like, Jennifer, your oral exam was one of the best oral exams we've ever had. That let me know then that I had speaking ability, right? I can articulate, topics and that I'm passionate about, right? Because anytime you're learning something, you kind of get a sense of passion about whatever you're learning. Like, you just get, oh my God, this is interesting. This is fascinating. Understanding systems and understanding this, it's fascinating, right? So got my master's. Then I was like, okay, Lord, what am I gonna do with this? Still working for the federal government. I applied for this job in Seattle, Washington. I know this is getting long, but this is a good story, because this is getting somebody some encouragement to be brave, right? So I get this gumption to apply for this job in Seattle, Washington. I say, they're not going to hire me, but I'm going to go for it anyway, because I'm in Alabama, thinking like they want someone local, because in federal government, usually if they can get a local candidate, it's cheaper for them. So I was like, no, they're not going to hire me, whatever. I went through 4 rounds of interviews. They actually flew me out to Washington State. Government really does not do that, right? They do not, especially for a candidate, unless they really want the person. I beat out over 150 candidates, and they chose me. I ended up telling my mom, hey, Mom, I got this job in Seattle, Washington, and I'm going to go. Her very first knee-jerk reaction was like, you're not going. I'm sitting here like, but I'm grown. And on top of that, I'm gonna pull a you on you. You taught me to be an independent thinker, which means that I don't have to agree with you either. Respectfully. Because Southern mamas don't play. Okay, Southern mamas do not play. Now let me tell you, Black mamas don't play. Let's just say that Black mamas don't play. So she got used to the idea, of course. I was like, Mom, I'm going, because I'm brave. I'm courageous. She is my definition of courage. So like, she was like, okay, go. So I flew out to Seattle, did not know anybody there. I remember landing. I had figured out how to do, cross country move, had scheduled my car to be shipped, my stuff to be moved out of my apartment and shipped there and everything. Like the sister girl was on point. Type A. I'm a Delta. We gonna figure it out.
Yes, indeed.
So figured it out, and my car hadn't gotten there. I had 2 suitcases with me. I took a taxi from the airport to my new apartment. And I remember getting to my apartment, sitting in the corner, and it was completely empty. And I cried my whole entire eyes out, Tal. And I was terrified. At that moment, it sunk in that I leaped. It sunk in that I leaped. And I was 3,000 miles away from my mama. Like, and home and everything I ever knew, because I never actually lived anywhere outside of Alabama. Like, I've traveled outside of Alabama, but I never lived anywhere outside of Alabama. So went out there, but then in that moment, I got a calming over my spirit. I said, God brought me to it. He will bring me through it. So I knew that he was going to take care of me. And on top of that, I knew if I need to get home, I can swipe a credit card and can take my tail home whenever I needed to get home. Like, you have to have provisions. So I was there 3.5 years. And I can honestly say moving out there was one of the best seasons of my life. Like, I met some amazing professionals that encouraged me to be better with my life. I actually stepped my game up. I was like, these people make it like, what? I need to get my life together. So of course I started to, by that time I pledged Delta out there. So shout out to Seattle alumni, Far West region. And so I got to the point where I was like, okay, next level, right? So next level happens. I get a job at the Small Business Administration in Washington, D.C. Okay. Now this is my season of turn up. Okay. So going back to where I started to feel unfulfilled, I started to feel that in DC. I started to feel like I want to live out my purpose. I wanted to, even though I was very thankful for the job that I had received, because it was promotion, making good money and all this other stuff. But I started to be like, okay, I need to seek my purpose. Again, not knowing, still babe in Christ. So at that time, I started to know that I needed to go deeper in understanding God. And then, I got married and, started to really just figure out, like, what is it for you, Jennifer? Don't get lost in your career. Don't get lost in your marriage. Who are you? Okay. So I dove deep, a lot of soul searching, and then God sent me out into the wilderness to a whole entire turn up, to the point where I was faced with such a storm in my life. I started to feel attacked from every single angle. My work environment is extremely toxic, and I was just crying every day. It was just horrible for me. And I was just like, you know what? It's time for something different. And I remember the day that, I just could not take it anymore. I was like, this job is going to kill me. I was like, this job is going to take me and kill me, because I was experiencing depression. I had to seek out a therapist. My back was against the wall. And I talk about this in my podcast about my back being against the wall. My back was against the wall. I didn't recognize me. And in recognizing me, I had to go and seek professional help. And in finding a therapist and really uprooting and healing my past hurts from not being able to, still being mad at my dad, not being able to have conversations, past relationships, just everything. I dumped everything on my counselor, like everything on my therapist. So then God was like, okay, you know what? Here's your purpose. And it's interesting that we're talking today, because like May 5th of 2020, I received my call to ministry. And I had been prophesied, my life had been prophesied on when I was actually hit DC. They were like, oh yeah, one of my spiritual advisors was like, you know what, you have a call in your life. And I'm sitting here looking like, I don't know who you talking to.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know who you, because like I was so worldly. Like I was into the turnip, having fun and all this other stuff. And you can't do that. And I don't want to do that, to be honest. I want peace. Okay. Because that turnip is it's not peaceful.
Yeah.
So I wanted peace. So I was like, okay, all right, God, all right, this is what you are you sure? You want me to do this? Are you sure? And that's how you know that it's you. When it scares you, that's how you know that you're supposed to view it. Like, I know everyone is not a believer in Jesus and God and all this stuff, but whoever, if you have any type of spiritual foundation, if you receive any type of inkling or feeling or intuition or something that's saying, telling you to do it, if it scares you, I can almost guarantee you it is for you to do it. And especially if you know it's going to make you better. You know, if it scares you and excites you at the same time,
Right.
that's when you know you're supposed to do it. And it did, because I love God. So here I am, doctoral student, you know, got my coaching certification. I got out of the toxic work environment. I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. And people thought that I was absolutely insane. But my mental health meant way more to me than a dollar. And that's another thing. Like, I actually put my stability on risk. But even though it was never sacrificed, because God will provide, he will place you, he will make room for your gift and place you in from many men. So just understand that God will always make room for your gift and place you into the right hands, people, advisors, whoever you need to be around. He will definitely place you there. And the whole business background, now you see where it goes into play, because now I'm an entrepreneur. So, you know, being able to know the inner workings of what entrepreneurship looks like, you know, working at the Small Business Administration, knowing what small businesses go through, the resources they need, but to walk their walk is completely different than to see it from an administrative end. Like, I would see and look at our portfolio and see like 60% of the small businesses on our portfolio fail within the first 5 years. That would terrify anybody to be an entrepreneur. They're like, no way, I'm not doing that. That's another thing. I said I would never be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Scared me,
Yeah.
excited me at the same time, because it's a different level of freedom, because you're literally your own boss. You'll eat, wait. So if you don't, wait. So what is you wait, if you eat, you gotta grind. If you grind, you don't shine. Something like that. I can't even get the word rap lyrics together, but
You
like,
don't,
you gotta
you don't,
work. What is
yeah.
it? You gotta,
You don't
what
kill
is
it,
it?
you don't eat. You don't kill,
Which,
you don't hunt, you don't eat. You don't grind, you don't
yes,
grind. Yeah.
yes,
You eat what you kill.
exactly. You eat what you kill, and I'm hungry.
Hmm.
I'm a Cancer Leo cusp. So with
Okay.
that being said, my
Hmm.
lioness hunts. Okay, she
I
hunts,
hear it. I
but
feel it.
I
I
also have
believe you.
I have my compassion as well, because I'm a water sign. So I'm very, very much a compassionate person. I love to love. I love love. And yes, yes. So it's like I had to, you know, be able to balance that, be able to coach this to people, because I know what it looks like to be scared. I know what it looks like to be courageous. And I also know what it looks like to be successful with it. You know, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be dark nights. It's going to be lonely. You're going to have cry. You're going to cry. You're going to feel like this isn't working. It's going to look dark, but all things work together to a call to his purpose. Romans 8:28. All things work to the good. So you just have to stay faithful and know that you're moving in the right direction. Small steps, baby steps make larger steps. So don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't look too far past the forest to where you miss your trees. Like, just take your time, slowly but surely, just keep it moving, and you will be fine. Like, even right now, I'm training, and my trainer tells me, "Oh, your body is going to change every 72 hours," and I'm just like, "Yo, I don't see it, you know." What is going on? Because I know that I have personal things that I need to reach before I get there. And I'm like, I'm not seeing it, but it's happening. The changes are happening. And it's like, just be patient, stay consistent. Don't quit before your breakthrough, guys. Don't quit
Right.
before your breakthrough.
That's an amazing reminder, and it's really valuable actually to me. And I think no matter what stage you are in your life, because a lot of the changes that take place are not really noticeable. There's small things that compound over time, and then you look back and it's like, oh, this makes perfect sense. So I'm listening to your story and I'm resonating with so many different parts of it. It's so aligned with exactly like how my story is, and it's like when you're in the moment, it doesn't really make sense. But one thing that I think you're bringing out of me is this idea that I don't know how I came across it. It wasn't like from a mentor or YouTube video or anything like that, but I got this notion that I should look at my life as if I'm reading the book of it. I'm just writing the story and I'm just looking back. It already happened. I'm looking back and I'm reading the book. And that helped me be really present in the moment. And then when I got to the next level or the next milestone, I was looking back and it was like, oh, that's why I was in that position because I needed to learn this. And you're talking about going to school for business, learning marketing, learning all these things. I was in the same place. I had no clue that it was going to turn into entrepreneurship. But a lot of the things that we had in our life, we had like a lot of similar experiences that came out to similar, results. And that's so dope, I think, for anybody listening right now, because while you're in the weeds, it's so hard to see the bigger picture, but it's also so important to be able to zoom out and then get really present.
Right.
Yes,
Right. I just
that's really
I love what you said about stepping out of yourself and reading your life as a book. I love that analogy. Because then what I heard when you were talking is worry, right? We worry way too much. It's already done. So like when you look at yes,
yes,
it's
indeed.
already done. So it's like when you look back at it, if you see your life as a book, as your analogy, look at it as a book, it's already written and you're just reading your pages. So you win. In the end, it
Right.
doesn't matter what it is that that your purpose is. Everybody has a different purpose, so that's something else. Do not compare yourself to somebody else's life. You have to seek your uniqueness. That's the reason why I firmly believe I'm not in competition with anyone. Like that's the reason why I love talking to other coaches such as yourself, because we all have our respective lanes and we move in it, but it's all love with us because we are so secure in our own path, in our own, because like the scripture says, we're one body, many members. A lot of us are here to help and touch whoever. We got many assignments. There's so many people on this earth. We're just one person that may touch them, and you may be the other person that touched them. But as long as we're heading towards the central mission of helping people find their purpose, that's the whole goal. So it's like, understand you're not even though the world sets us up to believe that we're in it's an illusion
Right.
that we're in competition with other people. But when you step out of that mind frame and say that I am who I am, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I am doing what I do and I do it greatly, right? When you know what you do and you do it well, there is no competition.
Yes, indeed.
Don't
No
sweat it.
stopping.
Right. You don't sweat it. You're just like, you know what? That just wasn't meant for me. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to get disappointment, because there are things you're going to go after that you may not get, and you will experience disappointment, but that means that this wasn't meant for you. There's another opportunity coming that's going to be meant for you, so don't be jealous of somebody else, because I mean, especially with women, something that women do is that, if someone gets married before them or get engaged or have babies or get engaged before them and all this other stuff, well, they get down in the dumps. And I understand, ladies, I really do. We talk about this on my podcast. I understand that, ladies, but you don't want to be with the wrong person. So it's like, just sit back, wait, your time is coming, your king is coming, they coming, the baby's coming, whatever is coming, the job, the house, the car, it's coming to you. You just have to sit back and wait on it. It's about patience. And that means being patient with yourself. Being patient with yourself. So sit back and look at your book.
Right.
Just flip through your pages.
It's so, it's really easy to worry, but it's also like, I think with a perception shift, it's really easy to not worry too, because if you look at all of the different options, all of the different pathways, all of the different ways your life could have turned out, maybe should have, or whatever, all of the different, variables that took place to get you where you are right now, right? And then you look at the probability that you are right where you are right now, just being born, you won the ovarian lottery, right? So just being born is improbable. So
I love it.
so when you look at that, it's hard to believe, or it's hard to believe that you're not there for a real reason, that you're not there for a purpose, and that your next step isn't aligned, because it could have been anything. It was actually more probable for it to have been some other things, but it is what it is. And that allows me to be a little bit more grateful for what it is, and not look at what it ain't or what somebody else has. Because you shift one small thing, you got a whole new list of pros and cons, a whole new list of benefits, but challenges come with it too. So be grateful for the challenges that you do have, because it's building upon you, it's building you into something that is preparing you for something that you asked for, right? So that's super important. And I also wanted to shine a light on your story, and how, coming from point A, coming from the beginning to where you are, is really inspiring. I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, they miss the mark, right? We get into this, oh, I'm selling a product, or I'm selling a service, I'm selling results, and that's all that matters. When the truth is, I learned from a mentor, is that you're actually just selling a story. You're selling the possibility of what people are capable of through what you were able to do. And I saw myself in so much of your story, that I know that you're impacting every single person listening to this right now. So I just wanted to take a moment to shine a light on that, shine a light on your story, shine a light on your courageousness, your bravery to share the story and to make it so compelling. You said that you had an ability to speak and to articulate different ideas and draw people in, and you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
We're hope
You
dealers. Damn, we
That's
hope dealers. We dealing hope over here. Like, we're
I love
actually
it.
definitely dealing hope. And I just love that we do it. Because again, like you see, we both got smiles on our face right now, because we literally love what we do.
Right.
Like, we absolutely love what we do. We love to see other people shine. And like, something I used to say when I was at Social Security with my old coworkers, I was like, it was a situation where, well, somebody had said something about, somebody had gotten like a new car or something. It was something that somebody had done well, and they got accolades for it. And
Mhm.
another person was like, well, I did it, and I was like, why are they trying to steal that person's shine? Like, I can't stand shine stealers. I have a conviction to sign shine stealers. It's gonna be your turn, boo boo.
Right.
It's gonna be your turn. It's gonna come.
Yeah,
Just sit down and wait.
yeah.
Unless you don't deal with your evil, wicked spirits. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, because karma is real.
Right.
So you got to dish out good to get good. So, you just definitely know, you have to recognize also your shadow. Something else, in this journey, I had to deal with my shadow. Like, I really had to deal with my shadow and deal with my ego and my pride and all this other stuff. And it's just like, you have to swallow all of that if you're being courageous, and be humble, and be open to receive help, because it's something that Black women suffer from real bad, is an extreme independence, which is a trauma response. Sisters, let me go ahead and let y'all know, like, girls, let's this whoever's just listening, women, period, if you are into this extreme independence, that trauma response stuff, you need help. Like, when I tell you, and I'm not talking about like professional help, meaning people need to help you achieve where you're going. Because I'm going to be honest, in this journey, I had help. I had people who helped me. I had and it took a lot to trust, because what that extreme independence comes from is that we don't trust. because it's for whatever reason, childhood traumas, whatever it is, the trust has been broken, and we're just like, okay, I can do it myself. If I can't trust other people, I can trust myself. But we have to get people on board to help you and help us with our visions. So I know, like, we talked about mentors and stuff in our, when in our last conversation, Tal, and it's like, yes, mentors, people, you need help, people to help you get there. So dial back on the extreme independence and allow people in to help you, and allow your spirit to guide you to those people. Just don't just choose anybody. Like, you can tell, especially like in DC, that is the capital of pretentiousness. Okay. Like, when I tell you it's, oh, what have I done lately? Like, that type of mentality. It's like people sit there and be like, I can do this for you. I can do that for you. Selling dreams. Like, they be out there selling dreams. Oh, I hope this title, I do this. Don't nobody give a damn. But y'all out here seeing that y'all sitting here trying to help somebody, and you're not. You'll try to follow. Well, I'll give you a call back in a week, and you never follow back up. Like, it's tons of people that do that. Those aren't your people.
Right.
Like, those aren't your people. Like, really, just know, if you reach out and it doesn't happen, that disappointment happens, it's okay. Because that's a character builder. You take everything as a lesson. It builds your character of resilience. Okay. Be resilient in your passions. So just continue to move forward. You're gonna get a no. I've gotten plenty of those. I don't care. I'm to the point right now. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'm on to the next one. Like, no doesn't affect me like it used to. Like, used to be down in the dumps, Tal. Like, I used to be down in the dumps. I get to know my feelings are hurt. I got. I'll have a second. I'm human. I'll have a second, then I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna dust that off. But it's get used to know as an entrepreneur too.
Right. To the max. To the max. It's all about being centered with yourself, and being able to manage, your emotions, being emotionally intelligent, to be able to recognize when the energy is coming up, and to know that it's not there for you to control it, it's for you to observe it, to learn from it, to grow from it, right? And to not fight it, not suppress it. When you suppress it, you become depressed. All these different things. It's a journey, and I think that it's a lot to take in, especially all in one podcast episode. So you absolutely will need help. We are a collaborative species, and nothing on this earth was created by one singular person. You may have had a leader, you may have had a thought leader, or an idea creator, but it still took a collaborative effort to create any and everything. So I know that at this point we're sold, and we don't just need anybody's help, like you said. We need somebody that's qualified, somebody that we resonate with, and somebody that is Jennifer Black. So how do we,
I
or
love
rather,
that
let me
transition.
ask,
I
like,
love
what
it.
is it? What is it like to work with you?
So what is it like to work with me? I'm just a big ball of fun. Like, that's how it's like to work with me. Again, my favorite thing to say is I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm really an advocate, and I'm passionate. Like most coaches, we definitely sometimes want it more than the player. However, that just speaks to our passion. We want you to win. Like, we really want you to win. And with that, working with me is that I am going to Black Light Your Life. That's the reason why my business is called Black Light Coaching. I'm going to expose what isn't commonly seen, and that means your uniqueness, what makes you special, to find out what to illuminate your light and allow it to shine bright, that you've always felt that you couldn't necessarily shine because you didn't know where you fit. You're not meant to fit, you're meant to stand out. So to work with me is to understand, to get comfortable in standing out.
That's beautiful. And how can we get connected with you?
You can connect with me, you guys, on blacklightcoaching.com. That's BLACKCOACHING.com. You can connect with me on Instagram at Life Coach J Black, and also Black Light Coaching on all social media outlets. So that is how you can reach out to me, contact me. Yeah, we offer free consultations, and our services include executive coaching, life coaching, and wellness coaching.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So you guys, as usual, do not hesitate. You know the links are in the description and in the bio. You're in your reach. So don't hesitate. Let's jump on that. And before we let you go, Jennifer, I love your energy. I love that you came by to share your story with us, share your love, share your light, share your energy. But before you go, right, give us one thing that anybody can do listening right now to live just a little bit more by design instead of by default.
So to live more by design and not by default is to embrace the thing that you think is weird about you. Because when you embrace the thing, that one thing that you think that nobody else knows about, when you're by yourself in the midnight hour or your darkness and you're having your moment and you know you and you seeing you, that one thing that you think is weird about yourself, embrace it, because that's actually what makes you the best you. So that's how you can live by design and not by default. Accept your uniqueness.
We got a mic drop on that one. That is,
Yo.
I love asking that question because everybody has like such a different and unique answer, but that was one of the more powerful answers that I think I've heard. I know that since doing that, there's so many people that probably think I'm hella weird right now, but it has definitely been something that kind of takes a life of its own and kind of makes things happen on its own. Like you said, your gift will make a way for you. Your weirdness, the thing that what's something coming up for me right now. They said that you're not supposed to kill the part of you that makes you cringe. You're supposed to kill the part of you that cringes. Right? Yeah, that's
yes. I like that. Absolutely. Because like, you know what? I thought my spirituality was weird. Like, people sometimes, and let's just be honest, some people get kind of, when you get on talking about God, they're just like, I don't know anything about that, but like that particular piece, let's talk about it. I sing it, bring it, let's talk about it. Because there's a lot of people who would love to embrace that particular piece of them. And that makes my coaching business different, right? People who want to embrace that will come this way, so it's like, just know, like, I get it. Like, I've been there. I totally get it. Like, but I sing to the top of the lungs. I love God. So it's like, and I understand, and I respect other people's views. I believe in coexisting. That's the thing. Like, I believe in coexisting. We all are here. We're all special. We're all unique. And we have all different thoughts and ideas. And we're all supposed to respect and embrace all of them, even if we don't agree with them. Right. Allow people to have space to be them. That's just it. Tal, I have to say this though before we go. Thank you again, and I appreciate always, because I get such good energy, you guys. He's awesome. Like, I always get such good energy, good vibes from my man. We got Coleman Love. This is my brother. So so I just absolutely love when we link, and I can't wait to see what other projects we work on in the future.
Oh yeah, it's going down in a very major way. Absolutely. Oh my God, yeah, the energy is through the roof. I'm bubbling. Absolutely. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for talking with us again. I'm celebrating you. Celebrating that.
I love see that right there is you. I love it. Nobody can take that but you. And that's you.
That's a fact. And to everybody listening, as always, love. Be well. And don't forget to have the guts of Paleo guts.